I'm back to talk about more nothing, but nothing is always something. I was watching this video, and it was just talking about giant squids. It was a dinosaur video. It was nothing really crazy, but you know, everything always makes me think of a question. Like, I don't know, like I always have like essentially what, you know, a parent would say a kid would have a smart response to everything. That's just what I have. Like, it's just in my brain to just immediately question. And it's like, questions aren't always bad. Like, they're never bad. Asking questions are a good thing. You should always ask questions. But it's just like, I don't know. It's just, I've always been like that. So I was watching the video, and it's not necessarily a question. I don't know. But it just made me think, like, you know, with how we have Christianity and stuff and all people's beliefs, like every belief of, you know, how we came about how we are now. And it just made me think, and it's just like, I don't believe in none of that stuff. I don't know. If you see this and you know me, you probably already know this. If you know me, you don't. And if you don't, you know, it's not nothing crazy. I just simply exist. That's, you know, I like to live on the simplest form that I can, you know, without having to worry so much about stuff that I don't need to worry about. And I've came to the realization that a lot of stuff in our daily life you don't need to worry about. And that's what causes, you know, stress and anxiety and other thoughts and, you know, whatnot. You know, your mental reflects your environment, you know, how you're living, the situations you're in, you know. And sometimes it may not. Sometimes you can't help it. But your environment always plays a part in the way you think. And so I always thought, like, it, you know, Christianity, not even Christianity, but religion as a whole, like, I know the point of it is to just like have the faith that, you know, this is what happened, and, you know, we're gonna be going somewhere when we die, and this is just, you know, I need to stop saying, you know, and stuff like that, because it doesn't help explain better. But so it's like, I gotta really articulate what I'm trying to say better. I'm gonna turn my car off too, because I'm on gas. What am I trying to say? The point I'm trying to make is, I don't believe in the stuff that we've created to help us navigate this world, because as life goes on, it's only gonna get more complex. And you look at that throughout history. You know, when the earth first came about, it was a big old rock. Then asteroids with water and stuff started crashing onto it, as well as rocks with moisture deep inside them, you know, from these events that were happening in the earth with new land masses growing and forming. It was also releasing that high amount of heat, was also releasing that water, that moisture that was trapped inside them rocks. And so, hold on. So going back to everything getting more complex. At one point it was simple, but then then life came about. We started having organisms, the temperatures on Earth was perfect enough to create what we are now. And so we started off as simple little creatures. The world that exists now was nothing. It was of zero thought at that moment. It was like the way we can ask questions now of what does, like, for example, what does the fourth dimension look like? And we can't see that at all, is basically what it was like for them creatures. That wasn't even a concept for them. That's the word I was looking for. It was nothing of our world today was a concept to creatures back then, or life starting out. So then it evolved and became fish, and then those fish became reptiles, and those reptiles and fish became birds, and all types of shit, and different types of creatures after starting off from something so simple. And so if you essentially take life and mirror it to math, it's like how math is today. At one point in time, we only had 1 + 1 and the number line. And then we started, taking groups of stuff, which allowed us to then multiply and divide and add new formulas onto this simple structure that we made. And if you look at math now, it's only gotten so much more complex. And I just think about that, and it's like, yeah, however we came to be at, the time that, the universe sparked into being, or whatever happened for that process to start, which birthed essentially consciousness itself, I'll call it. Yeah, whatever caused that to happen was essentially the base of what's so in depth in its timeline now. And it's only gonna get more complex. And I feel like if you try to really take in everything that we've made, because think about it, if, at a certain point, we created, stuff like society. I'm gonna put that as a big group, because that consists of stuff like communism, that consists of stuff like racism, politics. That's all that. That's that whole boat of stuff that we have today, religion, everything. That's what I'm gonna put as society, because the outside world, the way you have to connect to it now is different than the way we connected to it when we were much simpler creatures. And I feel like that growth of that virus, I'm gonna call it a virus, because fuck society. I hate that shit, bro. I hate society. I hate the government. I hate every man-made, because like I've said before, things like that, I feel like things that were man-made, like constructs like that we thought of and were able to apply that thinking onto others to coerce them, or to change their thinking into a more, I'm gonna say hive-like, similar thinking to what you were thinking. That shit, it all boils down to control. And I just feel like that's all it is. It's just a big old means to control, because the population's going to keep growing. It's, at one point in time, a leader had to manage a group of, a leader of Neanderthals had to manage a group of however many they had in their tribe. And you have to do that some sort of way. And at the time, it was physical prowess, because that's just, it wasn't nothing more than that. The same way animals and natures have their ways of getting mates and stuff, it was just that. For humans, we just you just look for the top. Like, I don't want to sound red pill or nothing, because I fucking hate that shit, but it was just someone who could durable and who is strong-minded, because you, as well as strong, you also have to be strong. You have to be strong in the brain, because if you weren't strong up here, all of this don't matter. So going back to just what I'm saying, I don't believe in any of that stuff, because I feel like it's part of the excessive stuff that doesn't matter. You know, math, it's excessive, but I feel like it plays a part in being able to understand, you know, our reality. Because again, as there's going to be bigger groups, we're going to need to use bigger numbers and bigger equations and stuff. And, you know, if we want to travel to space and stuff like that, we're going to know how much fuel and stuff we're going to need. That's larger units of whatever we're trying to get to that objective. So we're going to need more complicated ways of figuring out those units. But that also applies to your daily life as well. And I used to say all the time, like, bro, math is so useless. Like, I used to be one of those people. And like, I knew math wasn't useless to a degree. Like, I knew I would need stuff like addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. But like, as a kid, I used to think I don't need any of the extra stuff, like fractions, this, that, the third, this, blah, 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 blah. Like, this is useless. I'm not going to use this in my daily life. But being older and just essentially just waiting for time, comes to the realization that math it plays a huge part in our daily life. Is an important way. We do it subconsciously in the way, like, I don't know, you know, I'm different. I'm not necessarily different, but I'm my own person. So it's like the way I do things might not be the same for you. It might differ from what you may do on your daily life. But I know me, I tend to notice, like, I do stuff in a way that you can reflect as mathematical without realizing it, off of just simple behaviors, you know, fractionizing what I'm using when I, you know, brush my teeth or whatever, you know, simple stuff like that. You may not know the exact number of measurement or, you know, units of fluid that's left inside the tube of toothpaste or any of that. You may not know any of those contacts, but just the formula still exists in that manner. You're still taking X of F and trying to figure out the difference of what's left after you take out Z or F amount out of, you know what I'm saying? It still applies. It's still the same, you know. It's just, and every time I bring up something like that, or like I like to say a lot, same concept, different principle or something like that, you know, something like that. But it's just basically saying, it's like, what you're saying is different, but on a simpler scale, it's the same thing as what I'm saying. It just may not be exactly what I'm saying. And I don't know, people never really tend to get it when I say that. So I have to explain to them. But that's just basically, you know, society. That is what I deem like, that's like having to keep up with society and thinking so much about, you know, things you, and don't get me wrong, if you partake in that, do you, that's your life, not mine. But me as a person, that's what I've come to my realization and that's how I decided to adapt my thought process on. I don't really care about things that I don't need to care about, because it uses energy, you know. Even if it's not energy that you notice, it uses energy that you could put into other things and get a much better, I don't know, feeling out of, than trying to, you know, please people that you see on your daily life. You know, maybe that be inside a school or inside a workplace or just anywhere, you know. I just feel like I've learned to care about myself more, is essentially just what I'm saying. And people, it's because people say I'm selfish, or, you know, for it. But I don't think I am, because I still care about the people I care about at the end of the day. I still do the things that I would do for them. And so I choose, I just choose not to let these things dictate how I feel and how I think. You know, I was a victim for it for a long time, but being a victim to it for a long time made me realize, like, damn, I don't wanna be like this. You know, I don't wanna come home feeling tired, just mentally, every day, trying to please people, trying to keep up with things. It just wasn't me. It never was me. I used to go outside, because I used to go outside with my siblings, but like I never hung out with people and stuff like that. Like people in general was just never my thing. I used to just always be in the crib and always be by myself, always in my room. I remember anytime my mom would be like, you know, y'all wanna go over to Uncle Dom's house or whatnot. All the kids would want to go get they stuff ready to go sleep over or whatever, and my mom would ask me, "Oh, you want to go?" I'd be like, "Nope, I'm staying here." She's like, "Why you want to stay?" I'm like, my answer will always remain the same, because nobody's gonna be here. I'm gonna be the only one in the crib. So just like it was, I don't know. I like it. And it's not that I don't want to interact with people, because I like interacting with people as well. I just like being alone better. And it's not for long periods of time. Well, it is for long periods of time, but I don't mind stepping out that alone time for other people. So that's why I don't feel as I'm selfish, is because, like, yeah, I may be like this for the time being, but that don't mean I'm not going to stick my hand out or, you know, come out that space when it's time. It's just, for the time being, I'm chilling right now. And the way I like to chill is just by myself. I feel like that's where I'm at right now in my point of life. And at this very moment is I'm kind of on waiting mode. So I'm just chilling and just doing this shit. Like I'm in a car by myself in a parking lot, about to smoke another J. And this is what I've been doing for the past, like, damn near 3 years now. Don't get me wrong, I be smoking with people. You know, I hang out with my friends and stuff. But more times than usual, I'm gonna take this over that. That's just me. Yeah. That's just, I'm not gonna lie, you know, I kind of feel a little self-conscious about how I can't explain things and how I bounce around in what do you call it, in conversation, or like when I'm doing this. But I've come to the realization that I like it, because it's essentially like a puzzle, you know, trying to figure out what I'm saying. It's like, it's one of them things where it's like you hear it the first time and it doesn't ever make sense. And it's like you have to come back to it, or like something has to happen for you to activate that, or put that, you know, whatever that new experience lines up with what I said. And it's like, then you come to that realization, like, oh, fuck, like, damn, I understand in a way what he was saying. And that's just the effect that I want to have on people, is I don't care about anything else, you know, but like, shit, I want my words to be prophesized. I want my shit to seem like I'm talking from the future. That's just where I'm coming from. Got my little, yeah. I'm about to go get some gas because it's cold and I want to turn my car on and put the heat on, and I don't want to put my hoodie on because I'm about to leave the windows up while I smoke. So that was this one. I like this one. I think this one came out pretty well. I'm gonna I'm gonna see y'all next time.